Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Seal Podcast, episode number 167 for the 17th of March, 2023. I am
Yes.
Fraser. I am joined, sound like a robot. I am Fraser, joined by, this is Neil.
Hello.
On right, Dave.
Hello.
You doing all right, boys? Are we well?
No.
Why is that?
Got a cough.
Oh,
Hopefully it's just a cough.
I hope so. Nothing worse.
Mm.
Well, I mean, you have the cough, just a cough.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Like, do you
Was
mean
it-
like it could be an
I
irritation?
woke up with it this
or-
morning. I
okay.
was like,
I was going to say, is it a new cough or is it a persistent cough?
yes, new.
Yeah.
A new, it's not really persistent. That's what they used to say, wasn't it, in the old days? Those 2 years ago. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
If
So
you
obviously,
like.
if you're live, obviously it won't be if you're not.
We hope you enjoyed St. Patrick's Day if you're listening in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember St. Patrick's Day being a lot bigger thing than it is now.
Depends where you are, probably.
Yeah.
Well, it probably got shit on a bit the last couple of years, didn't it? With
Yeah.
COVID, people not going out as much. I mean, it's a huge deal. I would say it's a big deal almost most of the English-speaking world. Would you not think? It's just a great excuse
They
for everyone
speak
to get out
English
in
in
the
Ireland?
press.
Is that
Gaelic.
their native tongue?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We should ask Mark. Mark could tell us.
Mark's in the
Mark could
chat.
educate us. Mark can educate us. All right. Okay. Well, let's move on. Move away from this quality waffle. What do you got for us, Neil, in the footy?
Right, are we going straight to the football?
We always do.
Okay, I've lost my little speech. There we go. So let's go to the right page. This is fucking quality, isn't it? So there were a few upsets in the Prem last week. The previously mighty looking Reds of Liverpool lost to lowly Bournemouth 1-0, and a certain Mo Salah missed a penalty, which probably went down well with some people.
It did not.
I'm sure it didn't. Everton snatched a win from double game week Brentford 1-0. Leeds held informed Brighton 2-2 at home, and Leicester continued to be a bit shit and lost at home to Chelsea 3-1. Spurs defied the form book and actually managed to win a game at home to Forest 3-1. Man City won away at Palace 1-0, and Arsenal smashed Fulham 3-0 away. Man United.
Have you done notes?
I've reading off a little script. Stop it. Man United had Casemiro sent off again, second time in his career, both at Man United, and only managed a 0-0 draw at Old Trafford on Sunday with Southampton, which was a bit of a fucking bummer for me. West Ham and Aston Villa played out a 1-1 draw in the David Cameron Confusion Derby, and Newcastle came out on top of Wolves 2-1 at St James's Park. In the second round of fixtures for Brighton, they won 1-0 over Palace, and Brentford came back to form and beat Southampton 2-0 away. So, player points-wise, all of those games.
I tell you what, are we dressing ourselves up in red, white, and blue this week? Oh,
who's that for?
Yeah, for all the Americans, all the septics, and how well they did. Oh my word!
I wasn't going on to the actual scorers yet. I'm going into the individual player performances for the FPL points.
You what?
So
this is all getting very professional, isn't it?
Yeah, see, it's my
he
bit.
loves it. No,
So,
I don't mind, man. This is your bit. You own this. He is owning it, isn't he?
Someone's trying to butt in, apparently.
Oh, as if you're not a stranger to that.
So, as I said, 4 teams played twice, but
see, at the start of his drink, before he's had the drinks getting really stuck into him, right? He's gonna complain about me sticking, but once he gets a few beers in, then the boot's going into me later on.
Well, I've cut down on the beers anyway, so
I'm gonna be quiet now.
So anyway, 4 teams played twice, but a few of the top individual player scores came from players with only one game. Trossard top scored, got 3 assists in one half, and scored 15 points. Gabriel, in defence for Arsenal, got a goal and a clean sheet, got 14 points. Ivan Toney got 2 games, but he only returned in the second game with a goal and assist, scored 13. And a Harry Kane scored twice in that Spurs Forest game to get 13 points. If only someone hadn't changed them a captain at the very last minute there, that would have worked out a lot better. Anyway, Brighton players did okay in their double game week. Mitoma got 12. The new keeper, well, new first choice keeper, he's been there a while, got 11 points across the 2 games, and I think he got bonuses in the second game. And Solly March finally got a goal accredited to him, and he also scored 11 points, along with Dwight McNeil of Everton and Jack Harrison of Leeds. There were a few others on 10 points, but they were the big scorers. So, shout out to anyone who had those players. And especially if you captained Trossard, for example, that would have been a right winner. But, scores on the doors in the FPL League. Joel Reeves, the lesser known Joel Reeves, 119 points, but he did bench boost, went up to 5th. Luis Estevez, 107 points. Well, I don't think there was any chips played. He's one of your rivals, isn't he? He
is my bro and my rival at the same time. I think we've sort of like been nicely boosting each other up the table there, but man,
he's definitely stomped on you last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's gone all fucking Rain Man on us in this game.
Well, he managed to move up to 6th place with his points last week, and a Chipper Spice.
Monster. Chipper Spice, another New York resident. She's New York too. The New Yorkers kicking ass this week.
Didn't go up, didn't move any places up in the league, but 92. Excellent week. I think she had Almiron, who came back into the fold and scored, but he's missing again tonight. Apparently,
right.
He's not even in the squad tonight, so he's obviously been a bit injured, I think. So some big points. Like I say, I think only Joel played a chip last week. We've got a top 3 now of Paul Davies holding on 1,690 points, which is a pretty amazing total. I've got to be honest, 56 points on the week. Stephen Holdsworth, aka Lord, Quizmaster Lord, who didn't do a quiz this week by the look of it. 1,628 points in second, scored 61, and then I'm still third. I got 73 points last week, and I'm up to 1,611 points.
Yeah, man, I know you got...
Getting there, reeling them in a little bit by bit. If I can just keep outscoring those top 2, I'll be happy.
Well, you're definitely within striking distance of second place.
Yeah, I thought for a minute I was going to do it this week, but then he had a good few players in the second games in the midweek as well. So he had Matoma, who scored a load of points, I think.
I can't see the scores for the game week, but I think Gary had a good week as well.
Oh yeah, honourable mention for Gary. I think he was on 89.
Honourable mention for another of the Yanks. And I'm not sure if Mike Redmond had a storm.
I can't remember.
I think he
didn't come up didn't make an impression when I was going for it. It was like I say, I know Gary was very close to coming third in the week, but I don't know how far behind it was. It might have been a few points. I know my son was up there as well.
Oh,
probably docked himself 30 points as well.
The American wave this week.
So we are in week 27, which means there are a few teams not playing. We've had a fixture this evening that finished 2-1 Newcastle. Alexander Isak was a brilliant transfer in, obviously, this week. If you hadn't had him before, he scored 2. Somewhat fortunate, I guess, with a second. I'm sure Christian will be absolutely frothing at that. But sorry, Christian. Next game week, we've got a lot of teams playing twice. So hopefully you've been planning your transfers. I have taken a -4 this week with possible another -4 for next week to make sure I'm in good shape for next week. Didn't really want to take a -8 in one week, but I had 10 outfield players with my 2 free transfers, and I was like, umming and ahhing. Shall I do the keeper change this week? Because at the end, if they don't keep a clean sheet, this is basically a waste of -4. But I was like, I'll be well annoyed if Chelsea keep a clean sheet, and I haven't done it, so I've put Kepa in for this week and a -4.
I played my free hit
this week.
Yes.
Well, this could be good then. This could be good.
Yeah, it looked as though I was really going to struggle to put anything out there, and I thought, you know what, when am I going to play it? If I need to make any other big changes, I've still got a wild card. But a free hit's perfect for this week for me, because I can just put out a full squad with a bench that can replace if any of them aren't
Yeah.
there. And then back to my old squad, which I was already building up for next week. So
Nice hit, I
So
like it.
hopefully-
See, I had a plan from that. I played my free hit the other week where there was hardly any games, and I felt like that was the right time for me, and I had time to plan it up for this week. But I was looking all right until Brighton decided to change their goalkeeper, which meant I had to make an extra transfer that I wasn't planning on.
Right.
But yeah, it's got worked out okay so far, I think. We'll see. One of too few things to note. Chipper Spice will love this. Arsenal and Liverpool both failed to progress in Europe this week. An absolute cracking goal from Sporting against Arsenal on the night. Chipped to keeper from about 40 yards out. Absolute belter. Which put them into like extra time, and then they went out on penalties in the end. Bit of sad to go out on penalties, but it's Arsenal, and no one really cares. Man City, Chelsea, West Ham, and Man United continue to be involved in Europe, so there may be a bit of squad rotation you might need to be looking out for around the Premier League fixtures. Also, there are FA Cup fixtures this weekend, so by the end of the weekend we'll know who will be missing any more games in the future weeks. I think it's 32, which will be the semi-finals of the FA Cup. So that's the football roundup from me.
Is it, Dave? How did you approach this week?
I missed the transfer deadline.
Oh, Dave!
About 5 minutes after I looked at the message, like, oh, 5:30, so I jumped on the computer. No, I was too late. So, but although I am beating Neil on points.
What, for tonight's game?
I've got 4 points. Neil,
What, have you got two Newcastle players?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I'm going to take that as a win.
Cool. Okay, we'll freeze it now.
Yeah. But looking at my team now, I'm set up for the game week 29. Like
Nice.
Most of my players have got both. Are playing 2, and it looks pretty strong. So I got Johnson and Saliba, who are uncertain. But
Saliba went off injured last night in the Arsenal game. So
yeah, but
Johnson did play this evening, but he's already played and done nothing. So
yeah, I might just sub him out, get a new forward on the who's definitely going to play. Maybe have a double week as well.
Yeah, I'm in an R-in over the forward change for next week, or this week, sorry. And I kept looking at Kai Havertz, and if he scores this weekend, I'll be absolutely not annoyed, because I was like, I just looked at him. He scored a penalty. Kai Havertz, Chelsea. And I just looked at his numbers for the season in Premier League and went, how can anyone pick him? It's absolutely appalling. He scored in about 4 games, I think, this season. And otherwise it's like 2 or 1 or 0. And I'm like, I can't put him in my team. So we'll probably bang on a hat-trick.
Who did you...
I went with Ollie Watkins, because he's... Oh, captain, I've got Saka from Arsenal as captain.
Okay. I went Kane.
Yeah. Well, they've both got tasty-looking fixtures, I thought. But, Crystal Palace have now binned off Patrick Vieira. So, apparently Roy's back, potentially.
Who?
Roy Hodgson.
Oh, jeez.
He's in talks to... There is apparently they're in talks to bring him back till the end of the season. But we'll see.
Who's your captain, Dave, this week?
I'm just looking at my team now. Let's have a look. Captain... Rashford's for next week. This week is, I think it's Haaland.
He's not playing.
He's not playing.
No. Nope. I know. That was a bit of a mistake.
So what was that? Was Rashford your first choice and Haaland your backup? Then is that what?
Oh, you didn't do anything, did you?
Dear.
Yeah, I forgot.
No.
Sorry, you didn't make your mistake.
De Bruyne was my second.
Yeah, I got rid of him finally. I was like, he's been on the hit list for weeks and weeks, and I'm like, I'll just give him one more week, because I know the week I take him out, he'll probably do well. And he's been playing well, but just not scoring any points at all. And he's loads of money, so he had to go. So I've gambled on James Maddison from Leicester. That was a big... I could have picked... I nearly did the change last week and put Norgard in, which would have worked out to be a really good move, because he actually got 2 assists, I think, or something, and with Bobin's points and stuff. He got 8 points last week, but didn't do it. I've gambled on Maddison.
Madison
actually
is
turning
third
Leicester
spot
around.
on my bench.
See how that goes. They're playing. They're away to Brentford, aren't they? So it's not an easy game. I don't think so. That's sort of the game they might actually turn up in because they've been awful. But there we go. Who knows? It's a bit of a gamble either way.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Neil. That's very good. Very well done, mate.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Right. Let's move on to listener mail. Hardly Dan says, check out the new Bobby Fingers video on YouTube. I don't know what that is. I did not check that out.
I did not know what it was when he posted that, and I'd seen him post it in the Discord, Joysticks and Chill Discord earlier. And I was like, that looks weird. And I hadn't played in this, but then I was like, he's put it in Discord. I'll give it a watch. Thinking it was only going to be a 5-minute video. It's a 25-minute video.
Oh, so Dan.
But I said in their Discord, it's one of the weirdest things I've ever watched. And the guy is extremely talented in many ways. So it was funny, but it did go on a bit for my liking for a YouTube. I was like, 5-10 minutes is my max usually on YouTube. He says, as we put a 2-hour show on there every week. But yeah, it's worth a watch if you've got 25 minutes to half an hour to spare. It's quite funny and pretty impressive at the same time.
Right.
So.
Okay. All right. Bobby Fingers, everyone.
Yeah. There's 2 others apparently that you would need to watch. This one was about Michael Jackson, where apparently his hair caught fire in the filming of a Pepsi commercial once.
Yeah,
this is all based on a real thing. And there's another 2 videos.
You don't remember that?
No, it's not something I didn't really do Michael Jackson.
See, I remember that. I'm younger than you, but yeah, you got a big payout.
So it was Pepsi, and I didn't drink Pepsi either. So, well, allowed fizzy drinks in my house.
I think you only had to watch the news. You didn't have to drink Pepsi.
Yeah, well, I was probably a bit young to be watching the news.
Or exist in like the popular culture at the time.
Young, when was it?
I don't know.
Didn't you watch the news when you were young with your folks when you were like about 14, 15?
I think so. I was probably playing computer games in my room.
Or masturbating.
Well, probably. Not with my parents. That's gone a bit wrong, hasn't it? That was a bit. Well, that's related to what Christian put in there. That comment, anyway. But I thought he was on. It's on about a would you rather question. But I think we've done it before. But yeah, there was 2 other videos I meant to say about Bobby Fingers. Apparently, one's about Mel Gibson and one's about Steven Seagal. So I might have to go back and have a watch of those as well.
Okay.
So.
Okay, all right. So check out that. Thanks, Hardly Dan. Paul W says, do you have a gaming break during the summer months due to the lack of new releases, the warmer weather, family time, etc.? Or are you proper hardcore, battling through and catching up on your gaming backlog and adding to your death-kill ratio?
I like the way you put that way around. The death-kill ratio rather than the kill-death ratio.
Reading it as written. Your KDA. Your DKA.
Yeah. It'd probably look better if I'd put a DKA. But it'd be a bigger number usually anyway.
If you'd put DKA there, I'd be going, what's that? What is it? I don't recall taking a break. I don't feel like I take a break from the hardcore games. Maybe from casual games might slow down a bit, whatever. There's more sort of time to sort of chill out outside or be outside and doing stuff. But
yeah, I think
hardcore games like Valorant or Hunt, we're always putting the time in, right? I think that's for me anyway.
I think the social calendar expands a little bit in the summer when there's you can actually go out and do stuff in the summer evenings. I know I've got some stuff coming up, holidays and some concerts I'm going to. But I wouldn't say I put any of the gaming down. I work around that. So yeah, it doesn't.
You don't go to concerts at 3 a.m. though, do you?
No.
Get home from them at 3 a.m.
Yeah. Staying over or driving back. But no, the next day I'll just go straight on. It's not. I don't think about putting games down or anything like that. It's an extension of my social life. It's not a replacement for it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really stop.
No. I don't really. I don't think we're any of us are after the day one releases and and that anymore. It's more
No.
of finding stuff we like to play together, and actually what's challenging. So yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be
gaming for
playing.
me
I'll be
is
playing Destiny probably still in the summer this year.
yeah. Most of the gaming for me is my social, right? That's my social life, hanging out with friends. Some
And
of it anyway.
acquaintances.
It can get and like Dave says, it expands to perhaps a little bit more of real life when the weather starts to get a little bit better.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Paul. Appreciate it. Hope you're well, mate. Let's move on to what we've been doing because I can't see anything else in there from people. So, okay.
Quiet. Sweet.
All right. Any particular order, Dave? Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. What I've been doing. So yeah, I've been going down a little bit of a rabbit hole regarding audio-visual receiver stuff.
Oh, mate, you can strap yourself in for a long time with this one.
Oh, I'm constantly flip-flopping between something nice and new and shiny, like a Denon X. Is it 380, 100, or what's the other one? Not a Matina. Oh, there's another one that's a similar price that's over $1,000.
Is it Marantz?
Yeah, could be that. I just don't need it, but it's got everything that I want on it. And I'm picking up some speakers from Leeds, which is
Did you win them?
I won them, but I messaged a guy this morning and like 20 minutes before I started saying, "Let me know it's okay for me to come and pick him up tomorrow." He still hasn't responded. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna. I can't jump in a car and drive for 3 hours and the bloke not be in his house.
No.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that he sold it on this eBay and he didn't want to sell it for that low.
Yep.
But he doesn't want to get the bad response, so I think he's kind of ghosting me.
Right.
So
are you waiting for an invoice? You haven't paid him yet, have you?
No. Cash on delivery. And I said to him, I want to see them, hear them working before I pay for them. And he has sent me his address, but I just can't jump into a car and travel 3 hours at the motorway.
Absolutely not.
So
that's a tough one, right? I mean, even for me, I was looking at this piece of equipment, and it's probably it's got to be an hour away, I would say, give or take.
Right.
And it's you have to factor in, how much of your time is that worth? You can put a dollar value on it, and I'm like, hang on a second, this might just, for the inconvenience of me having to do all that, I'd be better off waiting for it to come up again locally, right? And save myself, because petrol ain't cheap anymore, and nor is time, really.
No. So yeah, I'm gonna see.
How much is a brand new one?
So I've bought it's a pair of Kef Q750s.
They sound expensive.
They're 1,200 quid new, and they're 400 on eBay.
He's jumping straight in, eh?
Premium
Dave. No, he's not.
So I thought, as the first thing I'm going to be buying, I thought I want a quality pair of.
Fucking hell, are these 1,200 quid speakers like? Are they the ones with? Well, they got their own power and amps and stuff built in.
No,
are those ones.
No.
No, there are some Kefs that are all really like wireless things.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, they're the Kef LS50s. Yeah. No, they're not them. They're passive.
He's buying a proper amp today. None of this built-in amp bollocks, Neil.
Mate, I don't like wires. So, what can I say?
He says with wires hanging down off his ears.
Yeah. They're annoying.
So yeah, this is all in preparation for the house move.
Yes.
I'm not even going to set them up in my house now, because there's no point getting an amp and other messing about with.
I'm going to get an amp and speakers, and I'm not going to take the 10 minutes to set them up and listen to them. You'll have those things set up straight away.
Well, I haven't got an amp from to start with, so
if you bought the ones with the amps built in, you wouldn't need one.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why I've not bought an amp, because I'm not sure if I'm going to get the speakers, because I don't know. It's the same thing that goes around my head with this house. Is it's all going to fall through. It's all like it's all a pipe dream and it's not really real. So I'm just waiting for it to not happen, and then so I can tell myself, see, I knew it wasn't going to happen. I think because I'm so excited about one, the house, and two, the speakers and having a proper cinema set up.
How big's
And
this
having
house? It's literally got. You're not moving into the point, are you? Milton Keynes.
No.
That's pretty derelict.
Yeah. No, it's a big room for where it's going to be. Is it 19 foot?
5 rows of seats.
No. It's going to be a sweet spot of where I'm going to have a sofa and everything. And that telly behind me is going in on the wall, at one end with. I'm hoping 7.1, or is it 5.1.2 with an Atmos? Yeah. That setup. Although with the AV receiver that I was looking at, you can have 4 subs off it and have a sub in each corner.
What the fuck was the point of that?
Well, so it's not just a directed bass, but
oh, good. Like one sub's not enough, obviously.
Well, it's like having a surround bass, so it's bass dependent on where it's being.
It just goes boom anyway.
Well, no, but it's boom in front of you over there, or boom behind you because there's a fucking.
I don't know. I think you need a big room to be needing 4 subs.
Probably. It's Again, this is like this is the rabbit hole that I'm going down. This is what do I actually need? I probably only need like
absolutely
no, I don't. No, I probably just need just 4 bookshelves. What's it called? Bookshelf speakers, shelf speakers. I don't need any of this, but it's nice to play around with the idea and make all these things up in your head, and then once I get the speakers and I've kind of decided on a receiver, finding a decentest price, because I'm not going to pay a new, because the AV receiver is about 1,200, 1,300 new. And I'm not going to pay that. I don't want to pay that. It's playing the game of finding.
Can we just record that, please? Everybody's got that.
Should we just clip that?
Finding like a decent price of that on eBay. Local.
You just have to bide your, well, you can, I don't. It's difficult to bide your time, but I mean, I just saw a NAD amplifier today, locally, and it's like I think they go for like about 500 quid new, and somebody was selling one here for like $300. And I'm like, oh no, I didn't need to see that. And I was like, but I have no need for it. No need. Could I put it somewhere and use it? Absolutely. I could put it in the bedroom or whatever. Do I need it in the bed? No, I have to just say no at this point, right? Just don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of the stereo stuff, Dave, right? You could go out round the corner tomorrow and find somebody knocking out a 200, 100 quid receiver, which you'll get a decent secondhand receiver for 100 quid. If you just look around.
Yeah.
And that starts you off, right? And then you have, you can replace that. That's the whole point of separates, right? You start to mix and match and take stuff out. And
yeah. Like I'm looking at these ones that have got 8K HDMI out or 4K 120 hertz.
He just wants in. You want in it. You really want in it. The sort of the cutting edge.
Well, and it's like I don't even have a PlayStation or an Xbox. I don't need that. That's the only things that like.
What's Virgin? You got Virgin Media Box?
I got Virgin Media. Yeah. That's 1080p at the best.
Don't got 4K on them things.
No, it doesn't. Obviously, I've got a Fire Stick.
I'll get you if you join Sky, I can get some money if I refer you.
Rest assured, Dave. Rest assured, there is a sweet spot for you to play in.
Yeah.
Where you get bang for buck. It's like every other hobby, right? There's a bang for buck sweet spot where you're going to get really decent, very, very good performance. It's going to blow the socks off anybody who's watching it.
Yeah.
Right. And then past that point, it's, it's what do they say? It's sort of like it's logarithmic,
diminishing
or
returns.
Inversely, there's some
Yeah.
massive diminishing returns into the pounds you're going to spend for the improvement, right? So
Yeah.
just that's what I would say. Just tread carefully, because
Yeah.
before you know it, you can blow a lot of money.
Oh
And
yeah,
then you
no,
and
I was looking at like the Denon Hios, the home entertainment
Well, they do the multi-room stuff, don't they? Some of the
multi-room
Denon
stuff.
stuffs.
Yeah. So I was looking at that, and then I was looking at some speakers for that as well, and it was like, I was
you haven't
it
even
was
sorted out one room yet.
no, I see it. I was just like, I was tallying it all up, and I was like 4 or 5 grands like deep into all
Might as well
these
build
stuff,
a
and I
new
was like,
PC.
and I was like, and I was like, I don't like. The missus and my daughter's happy with their Echo Dots. They don't give a shit. They really don't care about their audio quality.
The funny thing, actually, I know, like my wife, it was the same. She didn't get it at first,
Right.
but it is funny. She's learnt, she's adapted over the years, right? She now knows when something doesn't sound crappy,
Okay.
or when something does sound crappy.
Right.
But it takes time, right? You will have an influence. You will have an
Right.
influence
Right.
without knowing it.
Yeah. Well, let's like set up my nice thing first, and then once she's heard some of her music on actually a decent stereo, and then hear the same music through her dot, maybe she might think about
It's weird. Like my wife hasn't mentioned how much better Diagnosis Murder sounds on the Sonos surround sound.
No.
No. Maybe
Funny,
it's not
isn't it?
in Pro Logic even. I don't know. Maybe it's just in Nicam stereo. Remember Nicam? That being a massive deal.
Yeah, I don't know. Men or women, I don't know. Some people just aren't in. Some people, whatever. Different strokes for different folks.
So yeah, that's been my week. Mainly AV and speaker searching and making like pretend things that I'm never gonna buy. Yeah.
Where do you search? Where do you look for your stuff?
Just Facebook Marketplace and eBay.
Right.
Yeah, there's not much really other things.
Do you look at What Hi-Fi magazine or anything like that to get some like good ideas about what you want?
No, I've get out. Sorry, Treasure's dogs. Didn't like it in the room.
He's gone.
No, I've been reading quite a lot of What Hi-Fi on the online. I'm reading a lot of reviews. The thing is, once you get past a certain price point, well, everything in AV and speakers, they rate it regarding the price points, and the top 5, 6, 7 products on £100 to £200, or 200 to 500, or 500 to it's all 5 stars, and it's brilliant. It's at this price point, and it doesn't matter what you look at. Apart from like very minor things between the top 4, 5, 6 products, they're pretty much exactly the same. It's brilliant for this price point. So like there's unless it's a specifically bad review, or there's lots of issues with some a particular piece of hardware, you can't really go wrong with getting a good named branded pair of speakers or receivers or anything like that. So
yeah, but you want to know if you're spending £200, that's the best way to spend your £200. Isn't what you're getting, and that's what it is. Comes down to.
yeah,
Like you don't want to spend £200 on a pair of whatever BMWs and find out that the Kefs are like the same price but like sound twice as good.
Well,
that's the other rabbit hole you get down into, which I've got speakers. I've got spare speakers all over the place, and I can put a pair of speakers in. I'm like, I like those speakers, but they don't do what I want them to do right now. Can I get rid of them? No. Can I put them in another room? Yes. Or what are these speakers like? Oh, they're good speakers, but they're just lacking a little bit of mid-range, so they're maybe not that good for this, or they're not that good for that.
I had a dream last night about Hi-Fi.
Nice.
I had a dream that we were sorting one of the kids' bedrooms out, and there was a bit of loose wallpaper in the corner, and I was like, "What's going on there?" Blah, blah, blah. So we ripped this bit of wallpaper off, and there was this 2 dodgy wooden panels, like in a sort of double door shape. So we ripped the panels off, and I walked through, and there was fucking loads of amazing hi-fi gear in this random room that we didn't even know was there. And I was like, as if anyone would have left all this shit. I woke up, I was like, that's a bit fucking random.
Oh, nice.
I don't often remember my dreams, but I woke up and I was like, that was fucking weird. As if anyone would leave that about. It was like fucking turntables, about 6 seconds. It was like walking into Fraser's bedroom.
Oh God, right. So Neil's going down the rabbit hole already. Like
it was actually Fraser's bedroom, I reckon I dreamt about. It's just speakers everywhere, turntables, fucking
dodgy.
amps.
Okay. Yeah. Let's. Who wants to go next? Neil?
Okay. Well, it was my birthday last week, so I went out.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah, you did say that last week, I think, but thank you. Yeah, so we went out for the day on Saturday last week. And I didn't know what was going on. I don't know if I said that before we went. Other than we were going to London. So we went to this place. We went to a few places. Fraser actually knows one of them, I think, because he might have had a little fucking little bit of part to play in where we went on the Saturday evening for dinner.
If you mean, am I talking to your wife behind your back?
Yeah, apparently so. But yes, so we went to this place in Hoxton, London, which I'd never heard of beforehand, and this place was called Alcatraz, and it's Alcatraz with an O. So you go in, take some booze in with you, and
you take your own?
You take your own booze, and they then take that off you as you get put in prison, and they make you cocktails with your chosen alcoholic beverages, and then play out like this comedy drama thing in front of you, which you then get involved with while you're wearing your orange overalls. And it was pretty funny. I was like, yeah, it was like they did an all right job on the cocktails. Not amazing, but it was pretty funny. I'm not going to say anything that goes on in there, because if anyone does go, it'll be a massive spoiler, because I think they just do the same thing every time. But there's a warden of the prison who's a bit of a twat, and then there's like the cool prisoner guy, and then there's like some guards and stuff, and they all play out this sort of comedy drama for.
Were there some aspiring actors?
Yeah, I guess in there maybe out of work actors and things like that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they found this place and just set it all up together. I don't know. So I don't quite know what
they sound like
is.
in-work actors to me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, maybe they were. Aspiring maybe would have been a better word. Yeah, generally that means aspiring actors maybe just means not getting the jobs that they want. I guess, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Proper acting work, but yeah, it was good.
Do you think all actors want to be super famous?
I don't know about that, but they might not be. You know, they might want to be on the stage. You know what I mean? Like. And stuff like that, rather than
Shakespeare
in some weird little place in Hoxton playing out. It was good, it was funny, but yeah, I don't know, because I don't know anything about these people, but they all did a grand job, and it was very funny.
There's a couple of them. There's London, Brighton, Manchester, and Liverpool. They've got a few videos on their website.
Yeah, well, it was good, so I recommend it if you do like a drink. And you're not worried about maybe embarrassing yourself in front of a load of strangers.
Why? How would you embarrass yourself?
Well, you might get called out by the warden in front of all the other prisoners and stuff like that, and then get shouted at and things like that. So, and you know, some people might make witty inverted comments while they're being shouted at by the warden in front of a load of strangers. Some people. But yeah, it was good. It was funny. Then we went to Tayab's, the curry place. I got off the train, and I didn't know where we were going, and it was like,
oh, that doesn't sound like you.
Yeah. I got out and I went, Tower Hamlets. I was like, oh, that's where that Tayab's place is. And my missus was like, yeah, well, guess where we're going then. I was like, oh, right, okay.
And that was good?
It was good. It was good again. And then we went to the pub down the road.
Did anybody have the lamb chops?
My mate had lamb chops. I said to him, we've got to have lamb chops. And I didn't.
My mouth is watering just thinking about this.
I didn't use a knife and fork this time. And we'd already bought beer from the Budgeons next to the train station rather than the shop right next door.
Yeah, you were prepped.
That obviously makes a killing from people.
Yeah, exactly. So it was good curry again, and then we went to the Good Samaritan pub and played some tunes on the jukebox, and then came in. So it was a good night, good day, good night.
Was it just you and the missus, or
No, me and my missus and our friends from across the way that we've known for a long time. So yeah, good.
very
And
nice?
then on from lots of fun and good stuff to the big pile of shit called a Qashqai that's been sitting on my drive for occasionally. The QQ, quite crap with a Q. It's had nearly a fucking grand's worth of stuff done on it recently.
Oh dear.
Since it started flashing lights going, we've got a problem, and not telling you what the fucking problem is. And we had the RAC on it one day. And he just said, there's just loads of faults. I don't know which ones are right and which ones aren't. So it went to the garage for a service initially. That was 100 odd quid. And then went in with these lights, and that was supposed to be 500 and something pounds, and ended up being 660 quid because they had to basically take the entire subframe of the car off to get to the part they needed to fucking replace.
Ooh, what was it?
Something to do with the exhaust. I don't know. It's some fucking pipe that runs between the exhaust and something else, and it gets blocked, and it's a right ball ache to get to. I was like, brilliant. So it was mostly labour. It wasn't a cheap part either. And then we got it back, and more fucking warning lights came on. It was like, for fuck's sake. And this time it was the glow plugs needed replacing. Because I was like, I guess they get done at a major service potentially, but they didn't have a major service. So it's like, I don't know how we've had the car ages and they haven't been changed. So it's probably doesn't sound unrealistic that needed doing by now, because they're probably a bit minging because it's diesel in it. So it's grim.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that a diesel then with glow plugs?
Yeah. So that was another 100 odd quid.
Dirty diesel.
Fucking pain in the arse. But yeah, so fingers crossed. That's it for the time being. But I'm thinking maybe it's time to go bye-byes to the Qashqais. So we'll see.
How old is it?
It's a 2014/15. I can't remember. It's a 64 plate. So it's like September to March of 14/15. I can't remember when it was exactly. It registered.
How many miles?
60k. It's not that many.
It's young. What do you want to get rid of that for? You just put in a load of money in it.
Because I don't like it, for one. And it's fucking shit.
The trust has been lost.
No, well, I didn't like it before it cost me a load of money. Because it was.
Did you not? If you never liked it?
I didn't mind it for the first 6 months, and then noticed all this shit things about it. So, yeah, I wouldn't buy another one, put it that way. But if you want to buy a Qashqai, I'm your man. I've done a great job of selling it.
So I had all this work put on it. Yeah, I don't know.
Lovingly maintained, right, Neil?
It has been all right, because, for a couple of years, it didn't really do a lot. We've just had a tweet in, by the way, if you want to go back to that at some point. But yeah, that's the Qashqai done for the time being.
Crap guy. Okay, well, I have been up to a couple of things. So, we are today not recording on my laptop, which I have had issues with before. As I said, I got all my PC parts last week. Oh, no, I hadn't picked them up, had I, last week?
No, we were waiting.
So I went to go pick them up on the Saturday morning. Grumpy old Fraser went down there, bitched and moaned, and picked them up, and then complained about the place he was picking them. Even though I'd sung their praises or whatever, slightly sung their praises the week before. I got down there, I get in there and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to hit the desk first. I'm going to go walk around the store. And this guy comes up straight away. Sorry, you can't walk through the aisles. No, they're all blocked off. No aisles are available. We're changing the layout of the store. I'm like, what? You can't even go browse. Like I want to look at the mice. I want to look at the keyboards. I want to look at some cables and stuff. I want to browse your wares. He's like, no, sorry. You have to just talk to the staff and they'll go find whatever you want to find. I'm like, well, that doesn't work for me. I need to see shit.
Right? I want to browse.
I need to browse and take in
information. I
want
to nick something.
And I said, how long is that for? And he goes, it's probably for another couple of weeks. I'm like, okay, whatever.
What the hell?
So I was like, okay, well, that's it. So I went to the desk. I went, here, just give me my stuff to pick up, please. And he goes, yeah, it's all here. He's got the bin. And I said, can I just look at it, please, before I pay for it? I just want to know. He says, I'll hold it for you, but you can't touch it. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, we have too many people just run off and nick stuff. I'm like, okay, all right, like I was or whatever. Like I just want to, I'm gonna. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna take out the chip.
Like, look at me. I'm not fucking getting away from you, am I?
Yeah, look at the state of me. And he says, I'm going to take out the rise and chip. We'll inspect the chips to make sure there's no bent pins. I said, well, can I look at it then? And he's like, no, well, you can't, but I'll look at it and we'll look at it. I said, so you're inspecting it, signing it off. How do I figure into this? What are you going to, And I said, you guys you're making it so difficult to do business with you. Like, you cannot afford to be like this, But anyway, like I got my stuff and, like I wasn't blaming the guy, but to be fair, you know what? The whole place was full of mid to late 20s, maybe even early 30s males, and they all looked miserable. Like I don't know, is that the life of someone who works in a PC shop?
I don't know about 20s to 30s, but they don't look very happy usually.
No, none of them looked very happy.
Although I haven't been to a proper PC shop. I don't think, because I wouldn't class PC World as a proper PC shop.
No,
this one is sort of a little bit more proper than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I grabbed the stuff, threw it in the back of the car, went home. Yeah, just hoiked it in the back. Well, look, if stuff is, if stuff
been inspected, I guess it's fine.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, if it's in the box, it's gonna be fine. Like, just throw it in the back. It's fine. Don't baby it, right? What do you think? Anyone else is babying it before you see it? Yeah, so I got home, unpacked everything. So I had a nice case or whatever, fit everything in. It's even though this is, I think, the 7th PC I've done, you still have to, I don't do them all the time. So I had to just take my time. I didn't need to look up anything. I knew what I was doing. But yeah, I just took my time, put everything in, and fired it up. And away we went, straight up. No issues. They built that what, and got her running straight away. So I was very, very pleased with that.
Did you have like Windows 10 or 11 on a USB stick to boot up with?
Yeah, I had all that ready. Yeah, I'd done that before, so I was ready for that to go. Yes, yeah, I'm avoiding 11 like the plague.
It's not bad, is it? I don't think.
Oh, actually, we had a question, didn't we? And I asked a question.
You did a question, but no one really answered. Well,
yeah, Chipper answered it. So I will come back to that.
We'll come back to it. I have comments. I forgot to put that on down.
Well, why don't we can cover that now? Because my question was, I don't know how I got into it. I think because
I'm assuming you'd had a conversation with somebody else about it.
No, I'll tell you what it was. I was listening to my Ben Heck podcast from 13 years ago again, and they were going on about Vista, and he was saying how, people complaining about Vista or Vista's going to be great. And I was like, little do you know, because they say these things, and it's so funny. The future repercussions of what or what's happened against what they say. But yeah, they were talking about Vista, so I skipped Vista completely. I never used it, so I'm curious as to. So that's why I typed in Discord. Did anybody actually use Vista? Like, because it didn't go down well. I remember that.
What was Vista then? Was that after?
It was after XP.
Before 7. Before 7.
It was after XP and before 7, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was working in IT at that time, and most corporations skipped it.
Right.
And the upgrade from XP to 7 was an absolute ball ache. But because XP was coming to the end of its lifetime, they didn't want to do that amount of work to transfer everything, both server and user experience, for Vista, because it wasn't much of an upgrade. It wasn't very good for user experience. But they had to do it for 7
security
because XP was coming to the end of its lifetime.
I think Tesco's was still running some stuff on XP not that long ago.
You will see loads of stuff that's still running XP.
Like when one of them massive displays goes wrong in McDonald's or something, it will probably come up. Yeah. Windows XP is loading.
Yeah. There's still loads of stuff running on XP.
Yeah. But Chippers. Sorry, Dave. Go on.
Sorry. No, I was just saying XP was the perfect user experience
for
to
business.
get people for businesses to get them on, and it was
what was the
easy.
things? There was levels. What? Because I can't fucking remember now. Did we all have XP at home as well?
Yeah.
Or was XP the business thing? What was the? Where was it? There was
No,
a
XP
split.
was
That was
at home.
NT, wasn't it? NT was the.
Yeah,
NT was the sort of whole platform, isn't it?
That was
I
like
don't really
that
know,
was
I don't really know this stuff.
pre then. That was like Windows 95, and then was Windows NT, wasn't there? Similar time or something. Or was it Windows 2000 or something?
Windows 98, and then NT, and
NT was like the business side of things.
business platform. Yeah. And then it went on to XP. Yeah.
Chipper said we had it, and this is regards to Vista. She said we had it installed on work machines, and everyone complained, and our IT department had to switch us back to the old 2007 Windows. Is that right? Or probably back to XP, because she shouldn't have gone back to 2007. But she says Vista was a nightmare. Would take forever for a machine to start. Lots of restarts since it wasn't interfacing with the other programs we used. And then she says the best version of all the Office suites was 2003. But I'm not up on my Office suites.
No, I don't really use it. But we're on the latest 365 job or whatever it is now, because I pay now a yearly fee.
You got a subscription for it?
Well, yeah.
You don't mind a subscription, eh?
Mate, the first one I got on a Groupon or something for like 40 quid. And it was like, because the kids need it for school. And I was like, well, I'll get a family one and I'll get it cheap. And you get loads of extra storage space and all that on your OneDrive, like fucking 5 terabytes or whatever. And then I forget every year to get another thing, and it renews at 80 quid. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, I forgot to go and get another one.
That's how they get you.
Yes, indeed. But I don't pay for Game Pass, so you know. I had a laptop with Vista on, and all I remember about that laptop is it constantly going because the hard drive was just doing stuff the entire fucking time it was on. And I don't know if that was a Vista thing even, but yeah,
a Vista,
a Windows Vista. That was Windows Vista, like compressed. But yeah, it just seemed like that laptop was shit. But then, oh man, if you booted anything up from those days now, it would probably feel pretty shit. Because it was all mechanical hard drives have got, you know.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So I built this PC, and I've only put in, an
NVMe.
An M.2 drive, NVMe drive. Yeah, I put 1 terabyte in. So it's so funny. I've got the motherboard. It's got a glass case. It's got the glass side on the case, which I didn't know it was coming with that, but whatever. And it's just full of space. There's nothing in there. Like it's just this tiny little board.
Oh, you've got a little AMD cooler.
I just got the 5800X with the stealth cooler that it came with. And then the NVMe drive is on the board, which is tiny. I didn't realize how tiny those would be.
It's like it's like smaller than a stick of RAM, an M.2 drive.
Yeah. But yeah, it works fine. It's lovely. The only thing that I would say I didn't take into account is the front of the case has a USB-C port. There's no USB-C on my motherboard. I cheaped out too much on my motherboard for it to have that. But that's okay. I can live with that. But I'm using it, and it's extremely usable. Well done to that 5800G. Is that what it is?
5600, you said.
5600G chip. Just great. And I'm running the 2 monitors, no problems. Here we are. We have no problems, touch wood, so far today. I booted up Portal 2, which it ran no problems. It was, I think, running something well into 100 frames on Portal 2.
Wow.
I played
Valorant. It was 140 frames on Valorant.
How much RAM you got in there?
16 gig of RAM.
Yeah, because that'll be where, like, that's the only thing with that. You'll be sharing your RAM with graphics.
Oh, okay.
Because there's no onboard memory, obviously, on the chips.
All right.
Your RAM,
well,
which is
Valorant,
probably not as fast technically as in a graphics.
Yeah, Valorant ran like a champ. So that was pretty interesting to see. Some things it's obviously going to struggle with, and I wouldn't even bother throwing it.
You can play Fortnite, probably fun.
Probably.
PUBG, maybe not.
Yeah, so the next thing is, if I decide to put a graphics card in, right now I'm sort of hanging back on that. The prices are just still crazy, and I don't really need a graphics card up here.
I think some of the AMD seem like they're getting quite a reasonable price. You could get an Intel graphics card on the lower end of stuff.
Well, I was going to say, what's the point, really?
If it's working,
if
you don't need it.
If you don't need it, if you're not going to be playing like games on it that's going to need it, then what's the point?
Exactly. Exactly. So I don't think I'm going to bother. I'll just leave it as it is. I could probably see myself never moving it and end up building another one when I come to replace the proper gaming machine downstairs. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. Moving on from there, I got off my arse and I recorded a mix this week finally on my new old CDJs. So I popped that onto Mixcloud.
Didn't you do that on Twitch as well?
Did some streaming.
I did a test on Twitch. So I took my laptop down and I was see how that would handle if I was broadcasting Twitch, and typically it.
Did it shit the bed?
No, it didn't actually shit the bed, but it wasn't that great.
Right.
But the other thing I can do is I can record it out of my mixer via USB to the laptop. And that works really well. So I get a good quality mix, good quality recording out of that. So I did a mix on that. I posted that to Mixcloud if anyone's interested. It's a nice little bit of ambient going into some nice beats.
Nice.
Nothing too hard. Playing for the crowd this time. And
what's your handle on Mixcloud? Is it?
I think it's Fraser Moo. Yeah, same as normal. Same as most things. And carrying on with my creativity, I took Real Defo. Gary was very kind enough to spend some time with me, and he showed me the way around DaVinci Resolve, which is the video editing software. And so I've been collecting Hunt Showdown clips. And I knew what I wanted to do. So every time something interesting happens in Hunt Showdown, I can hit Shift Z or whatever it is. No, I think Shift F10 or I've forgotten now, but whatever. And it records the last 5 minutes of gameplay. So I've got a bank of clips. And I knew what I wanted to edit them down and then put them into a compilation. And I knew it would be pretty straightforward, but it was one of those things. I kept looking at this software, and it was just, I just couldn't be bothered to figure it out for myself. So I said to Gary, look, when you have a minute, can you help me out here? And he was very kind. He took half an hour out or whatever and just showed me the basics, and I was away to the races. So it's pretty neat, very, very good, very interesting software. So you can do almost anything you want. It's there's a free version.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it watermarked or something if you
No.
Or anything like that?
No, it doesn't seem to be. But I think, if you want to go up to the next level,
it's probably a subscription. So that's how everything fucking works these days.
It's how they get you. Yeah, but it worked very well. So I did a couple of videos this week, and then I've still got some more clips I want to work through and get those out. And
I keep seeing Humble Bundle keep doing bundles on either photo editing or video editing or music production. They do quite a lot of software suites as well as like video games bundles. So it might be worth keeping an eye on some of that. I don't know if there's one on the minute.
Yeah, they've always done that, and I've always sort of looked at the music software and things like that and wondered about. But I'm also very wary of It's very easy to click the button and be enthusiastic, but then when it comes to actually diving into all this stuff,
you could just put in some like sound effects on your mixes and stuff like that. All that sort of shit.
Exactly. Brilliant. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just been, quite creative. Created a PC, created a mix, created some videos. Yeah.
Getting your creative juices flowing.
Yep, fair enough now.
I've ruined it, haven't
I? So yeah, that's pretty much me then. So should we just?
Did you want to do this tweet that came in?
Oh, I don't know. Did we get a tweet?
Yes, I did say that. MS Rangers with a blue tick sent a tweet.
Oh yeah.
He says, "Hi, if I'm not too late, a few things to discuss." So that's where this is going. If you have described something as indescribable, haven't you already described it? It's one of these tweets.
All right.
Right, there's
Is
more.
that it?
Are we doing that
Oh,
bit and then
okay.
moving on?
I don't
'Cause
know
there's
how
more.
much we can. I mean, it's sort of. I can see where he's going with that. What do we need like a 10-minute?
Do we need to respond?
I don't know if we need to respond to that one. Do we?
Should we say yeah? Should
What
a man
came first,
right,
the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, these are a bit like that. It's not quite that one, but okay. Should a man about to be executed in an electric chair be saved if he had a heart attack? I assume before they flew the switch. Not sure it works quite the same way as a defibrillator, but
is he strapped? What? Yeah,
I guess if you're
you're
supposed to be executed, but you already have a heart attack beforehand. When they flick the switch, if you've had a heart attack, are you going to come back to life, or are you?
Well, I would imagine.
I think they fry your brain,
Are you saying he has the heart attack before they flip the switch?
Yeah, I think that's where they're going.
Are they going to flip the switch at a specific prearranged time?
Apparently, Mark in the chat says they're required to bring them back so that they can kill them by the sound of it. So.
Well, I was going to say that at something like that, there's going to be a medical professional. Medical professionals have a duty of care.
Sorry, hang on. This man is having a heart attack. I need to revive him. Okay, he's fine. Throw the switch. Fry his brain.
Well,
what the hell?
It sounds a bit odd, but it would almost play. You would think it would have to play out like that, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Well, really? Do they have to do that? Do they have to?
Say Dave's getting executed at 10 o'clock. Okay.
Okay.
For stealing speakers or whatever, for being the biggest speaker theft, big whatever. Anyway, I've got nothing. Say Dave's getting executed at 10 o'clock, right? Anything prior to that, like where do you draw the line? 30 seconds before, an hour before, 2 hours before, 4 hours, 4 days, whatever. I mean, any time before that, any medical professional has a duty of care to.
What if you've signed a do not resuscitate thing?
Well, beforehand, you're dead.
Well,
it's like if you choke on your final meal, do you get Heimlicked and saved, or do you go out on a burger high, a meaty demise?
Yeah, no, I don't know how much of a high that is, but
dying with a large chunk of meat stuck in your throat.
I don't know. I think the cut point is once you are in the room where you're going to be executed, anything after that, death is kind of like a requirement.
That'd be pretty shit, wouldn't it? Like, oh, thanks for saving me. It's like, okay, you can carry on now. You can kill him. Brilliant.
Yeah, I think
that would be really
saved. Yeah. In reality, no. Like anybody walking past the cell, oh no, he's lying down still. Oh well.
We have got another one, by the way.
Oh God.
Right, all right, what's the other one?
The last one is, if you punch yourself in the face and it hurts, are you A, weak, or are you strong?
Well, there's another word for what you are, I think, if you just punch yourself in the face.
What do you reckon?
Well, I'm going to tell myself I'm strong.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
I'm going to tell myself I'm weak.
I think I've got a pretty high pain tolerance, but I'm not sure. I'll punch myself in the face and let you know.
I don't think pain tolerance is a description of how tough you are.
No, he just said, are you weak or strong? If you hurt yourself when you punched yourself.
Yeah.
I guess your fists are stronger than your face.
Yeah, you would think, wouldn't you?
Well, if it hurts, they are. If it doesn't hurt, then I guess your fists are weaker than your face.
I think you could. I would confidently break my own nose if I really wanted to.
Oh, confidently.
Hence why flailing people who's having an epileptic fit are restrained so they don't injure themselves, because you are stronger than than your face.
Some of us might be.
Yeah,
you're probably stronger than you realize you are.
Yeah, you could easily smash your own face up, and people regularly do. In an effort
regularly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's 10
Have
o'clock.
you not watched Fight Club? Spoilers.
Oh, you've ruined it now.
Well, fuck me. People must know what that shit's about by now.
Nothing can beat the scene where he beats himself up in Liar Liar. Jim Carrey goes to the toilet during the trial and beats himself up. He's the master.
He's pretty good at physical.
He's
comedy.
pretty good. He is pretty good.
Yeah.
He's all right.
He's done all right as well. Let's be honest. Out of that.
Yeah.
When he's being serious, is actually quite good.
Yeah.
So some of his comedy is a bit too cringe for me. I'm not a massive fan of cringe.
All right. Good to know. All right. Moving on.
In the meantime, Mark is kicking his own arse in the chat, apparently.
All right, let's move on to what
this is what happens on St. Patrick's Day in Ireland.
Mark, you're very strong.
You don't need to prove it.
All right, who wants to start? I'll start. Shall I? No, actually, let's get Neil to start.
Ugh.
Come on, Neil. Your 5 minutes for Destiny starts now.
Right. Okay. What have I done in Destiny this week? I don't know. I can't remember. Played a lot of Destiny, more than anything else. I should have written some bits. It's all in a blur of what I've actually done this week versus what I've done in previous weeks. But
You've been doing single player, multiplayer.
Well, although me and Gary have just joined up a few times and just done some of the weekly tasks together. I've been progressing through some of the exotic quests. Once you finish like a campaign, usually it'll give you some more jobs to do to unlock more weapons. So I've unlocked 2 exotic weapons since the end of the new campaign. I've got a sidearm, which is like a small pistol, which behaves somewhat similarly to the smart pistol in Titanfall. I don't know if you remember that, the first one. I don't know if it was in the second one or not. But you hold the trigger down and it aims at a load of people, and then when you let go of the trigger, it shoots at loads of people. Yeah, there's now a sidearm in Destiny that does that. That's pretty cool.
Seems a bit overpowered, but yeah. Fair enough.
It's not overpowered because it's only a sidearm. They don't do loads of damage per bullet, so it's no good in PvP. I don't know. I haven't tried it in PvP. But yeah, it's a bit of fun. And then they have these things called glaives, which they came through. Started with Witch Queen last year, and they are like a great big spear/sword, a magic spear/sword, because it shoots stuff, energy, and it can if you aim with it, it will build a force field in front of you as well, and you can also club the shit out of people with it up close. So it's a pretty cool weapon. And they've got one of them which shoots out freezing bolts, so it'll freeze your targets in front of you, and then you can just smash them to pieces. It's pretty cool. And then I've discovered there is a secret exotic quest which you need to do some certain things it doesn't just go give it to you on a plate. You've got to do something, notice something in the world, which I haven't actually spent much time in that area of Destiny 2 since the new expansion, because it's not in the new area, it's one of the old areas. So maybe me, Gary, hit each other up and check that out, because that's another glaive weapon that you get at the end of that, apparently, called Vexcalibur. Vex being one of the races in Destiny 2, and obviously Excalibur, everyone knows what that is, don't they? It's a fucking great big sword. So yeah, I'll be looking into doing that in the next few days. I haven't been in, but there've been some changes to the way things work on the Trials of Osiris. I've mentioned a few times in recent weeks about this PvP mode that comes around every weekend. The first 2 weeks of the new expansion, they don't normally put it out because there's too much other shit going on, and they want people on the raid, which only came out last week, and things like that. And then the second week will be when the PvP stuff starts coming out. So I mentioned before how Trials of Osiris, usually you need to go in with a team of 3. And every so often they would do what they called a freelance mode in the previous season, where everyone in there was a solo and they just teamed up. It was like match made randomly, somewhat alongside your skill level, I think. But now what they've done is made the whole thing matchmaking. So if you're a solo, you'll get match made with 2 other people, either 2 solos or a duo. And I think they try to keep teams of 3 who going in with teams of 3 away from solos and duos, I believe, is how they're trying to match make it. But if the pool comes too small, obviously you'll just get match made with whoever. As you go down, because the whole thing with that is, the big thing you're supposed to do in Trials of Osiris is go 7 games unbeaten. And if you do 7 games unbeaten, you get to go to the Lighthouse. And it's one of the very rare things that, well, relatively rare things that people can do in PvP and Destiny. It's been there since Destiny 1, I think, but it works a bit differently in that. But it's always been this thing about getting 7 wins, going flawless, not losing a single game, get 7 in a row, you get to go to the Lighthouse. There's no other way to get to the Lighthouse. So I might be looking at doing some of that this week. I might go in on my own. I might see if Gary wants to go, if anyone else is about. Maybe they hit us up. We can go. It's cross-platform play and all that sort of stuff these days. So you don't have to be on PC. Give us a shout on the Discord or whatever, and we can hook up.
So what does going to the Lighthouse mean?
Well, you get extra loot.
I don't know, is it like is it
it's
a
just
level?
it's just a completely different area that you can't get to any other way in the game.
Right.
So there's like a whole area that they've made called the Lighthouse. So
Right, okay.
I don't know what's there. I've not been there, so I can't tell you.
Okay.
Exclusive.
You haven't looked up spoilers.
No, I like to avoid spoilers generally.
Okay.
But there's going to be a big chest there with extra loot in, I assume, because I know you get extra loot if you win. Okay. And you get, I think, what happens is you get better versions of the guns that are available through the normal loot pool. You get what they call adept versions, so there'll be like enhanced perks on them.
So how do you get there again? What do you have to win?
You've got to win 7 games in a row on Trials of Osiris. Trials of Osiris, which is 3v3.
I was listening to you, obviously, you can tell, right?
It's 3v3 combat, but you can only get in if you've got... You can't get in if you want a free play. You have to have the expansion. I think the latest expansion to get in.
But you can go in as a team of 3? You
can go in as a team of 3, or now it used to be only teams of 3. If you went in as a solo on a normal week, you would literally be on your own against a team of 3, probably.
Oh, jeez.
So you'd have to be some sort of god to get through that, because you can't really make up for having only one of you versus 3. Because they'll just once they realise there's only one person on the other team, they'll be like, well, if we all just stick together, they're dead, because there's no way you can combat that. Yeah. But yeah, so now it's a bit.
I don't know. Our team of 3 regularly gets wiped out by a solo.
Yeah, that's completely different. That's completely different. So, yeah. So I will have a little look at that probably over the weekend. And what else have I been doing? Not a lot really. Just plodding along with all of the bounties, the dailies, trying to get my level up, because that's another thing. The level does matter in Trials of Osiris. So if you're sitting there at 1750, you might have a bad time. But if you're at 1800 or thereabouts, you might be okay. But there's probably going to be people in there who are like 1820, 1830 or something stupid, because they've been just playing it for like a full-time job. Not that I haven't been playing it like a full-time job, but there we go. That's been a bit less this week because I've been actually back to work. So, what else? So that'll be enough Destiny, won't it? If you had enough Destiny, probably did that about 5 minutes ago. So I played a couple of other games this week. So I played a game that came to Game Pass recently, called Wolong Fallen Dynasty, and I do believe I talked about the demo for this game a couple of months ago.
I hovered over the install. In fact, I pressed install on this, and then while it came up and went and told me, oh yeah, it's just 40 gig to install. Not that that's a big deal. am I going to play this? And I just thought about it, and I think I heard that there were some pretty tough bosses, and isn't it Souls like?
It is Souls-like.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Then I went forget it.
So it's all right. It's not. Yeah, I say so. It's a bit Souls-like. I mean, it is very similar mechanically. It's more Sekiro-like than Souls-like.
Yeah, I haven't played that, so I don't really know.
Yeah, it's. Well, I found Sekiro quite hard. It was really good fun when it clicks, but it was fucking, the bosses were just so hard in Sekiro. So the key with this is, well, like it's what's it called? It's Chinese mythology, I guess. And you spend ages creating your character at the beginning of the game. You can choose whatever you want to look like: black, white, female, male, whatever in between. You can have a beard as a woman and all that sort of stuff. Anything you want. Choose your voice and all that sort of shit. And then you get into the game, and it's similar combat. The people who make this made Nioh, which was obviously another Souls like that. Was a bit sort of samurai-y, similar.
Yeah.
I didn't really get on with that.
Style, right?
Yeah. So this is definitely I feel better than Nioh for sure. Oh, there's a lot of skill trees and stuff and other stuff to unlock. I haven't really dug anywhere in that yet. There's magic abilities on your right trigger, and then there's what they call summons on like the right bumper button. Depending on, I don't know. It's very early. I'm still in the very early stages of this game. So the main deal that you've got to get with this is not about like in Dark Souls particularly. It's fairly slow-paced combat, very methodical, and very much take your time, learn what you're doing, counter the enemy. You don't have to parry and stuff like that in Dark Souls. You can dodge out of the way and like get into a position where you can do a lot of damage, like running around the back of someone and stuff like that. The bosses are a bit different in Dark Souls, but the generic bot enemies in Dark Souls, you've got to find a way of beating all of them, but you can just block them off if you've got enough stamina and stuff like that. You don't get much for blocking in this game. Or like rather, the key to this game is timing a counter attack, basically. So when you've got to wait for them, look, you can attack the base enemies, but when you get into the first boss fight, you've got to do like counter attacks, basically. So you need to. This is where it's very similar to Sekiro. Like when they'll come in, there's normal attacks, which you've just got to time, and they're relatively straightforward. Like you press a circle, it is for B to counter, or double B is a dodge. But generally, you want to be pressing a single tap on B at the right time. You'll dodge out of the way, and you can do a big heavy attack and do a load of damage. On the base enemies, you'll probably kill them in a couple of hits. First boss is an absolute prick. I have heard about this on multiple podcasts about here's probably the worst boss in the whole fucking game, and they decide to put it at make it the first one.
Really?
And it's just like, why did you do that? So he absolutely kicked my ass the first time I see him. What happens is normal attacks will come through, blah blah blah, but when they do a super special, it will take them a long time to warm up the actual hit, but it'll be like they'll glow red, and I don't think they're like invulnerable while they've glowed red. And it's quite obvious that they're going to do a big fucking attack, and it's like they'll rush at you, and you're like, I'm just going to press the button now. I'll press the button. Oh no, they still haven't done the attack yet. Oh, press it again. Nope, still haven't done the attack yet. And then they do the attack and fucking annihilate you in like 2 hits. And you're like, that's quite annoying. So then your next time you go in and you go, right, okay, it's going to take that bit longer, and still get the timing wrong. So there's a few other mechanics involved in this as well, where you quite quickly level up what I think it's morale is quite important. The more morale you got, the more damage you do. And when you like plant a flag, which is similar to the bonfires and whatever in Dark Souls, in this game you'll like cap your morale at a certain point. It's like you might be at 10 and you do a flag and it says you're capped at like 8 now. So if you die, you'll only go back to a morale of 8, and no matter how we've built it up to. In the early stages, there's not enough to do. There's quite a few flags quite quickly, and there is a flag right near the first boss, so it's not that big a problem in terms of getting back to the boss and stuff like that. But getting to the point, like the spoilers, the first boss, you think you've beat him finally, and you're like, yes, I fucking beat him. And then there's a second phase to the boss, and then he becomes an absolute cockend, even bigger cockend than he was before, and you're like, what the fuck? So that's where I am at Wolong. It's like, I don't know if I can be asked to spend however long it's going to take me to beat this first boss.
Oh,
to progress.
Mate, if ever I made a good decision, it was that one. Cancelling that in.
You never know. You might do it first go. Doubt it.
Look, I just thought this looks to me like a game that is going to kick my ass. Do I need my ass kicked by a game right now? And it's like, no, I get my ass kicked all the time in Hunt or in Valorant or whatever. Like, there's always an ass kicking coming from something. I don't need it from.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. It's fun, but I don't know. I don't know what it is about these Dark Souls games that I just like. I always felt like I could do it in Dark Souls, where I was like, oh, I fucked that up. And now I'm playing this and I'm like, I don't know if I can be asked to spend the time to fucking get the timing right on every single... Because he does loads of fucking different attacks when he goes into seconds. I was like, I've just learned everything to beat him. And now you throw all this shit at me.
See, this is the exact argument about all the other games that you play that are exactly like
but they're not. Like, they
you're
feel
making
better.
You're making the same argument.
I always,
the reason why I don't like Elden Ring is like...
Those games, I felt like I was still capable of doing it. Whereas this game, I'm like, I don't know if I am ever going to do this, because it's about.
Imagine how
it's
you
about
feel
the speed
because
it's about it's the countering. You've got to be it. It's all about the timing. Yes, there's a bit of timing involved in those other games.
How can that be first boss though? Like, what are they?
They fucking messed up, because it's like, why did you make the first boss so fucking hard? Because loads of people will get to the first boss thinking, yeah, this is all right. I like this game. People go on about these games, and I like this one. And then you go, fuck you.
Yeah, I think that's the point of these games, including Elden Ring and all these other games. It's a big.
Like, yeah, but the thing is, those other games are way more interesting.
A big dump on.
I think it's
trying to do anything good.
I think it's the controls, because this works different. Like, instead of using like mostly shoulders and triggers to do your attacking and defending in this game, you're using the square, triangle, X. And maybe it's just because I'm so used to playing them other games, I can't get my head around fucking pressing different buttons.
That's what I wasn't going to say it, but maybe it's not the game, mate.
Old man fingers.
Yeah, maybe.
Remap it.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's not interesting enough to make me. Like, I'd rather go back and try Sekiro again.
Oof.
And that was fucking hard.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, when you do finally do, like, I know I might go back to it, because I know when you do finally beat it, it is a big like fist pump. Yes, that fucking felt good to actually get one over on you finally after you kicked my ass 100 times beforehand. But I don't know if I don't know if I like the mechanics enough versus what I've played before.
Well, I'm not trying it.
So at the moment, it's so long to Wolong.
Oh yes, love it.
Right, what was my other game?
RE2.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
Ooh,
well,
yeah.
this is a bit different.
Shall I just interject here and just say something I forgot?
Go on then.
Look at Neil's face. Oh, go on then. Because I can see your face this time because I got all the video screens up. When my machine's not borking. I tried the Resident Evil 4 demo.
Oh, okay.
It was all right.
Are you going to buy it?
I'll probably wait till it discounts. I think I'll definitely buy it if it gets down to like, a hefty, not. I'm not paying full pop for
only
it.
50 quid. It's not a 70 quid job.
Yeah, but still, it's still Resident Evil 4, which I've played 100 times and looks very nice.
That's look
I'd
really
definitely
nice now, though.
yeah, I'd definitely be interested in going back in. But yeah, still no change. I still, from my last opinion, I think I'll go back in, but not at full pop. So there you go.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I've played it a lot over the years. Right. So yeah, I did go. So as after playing Resident Evil 4 last week, I was going to go back and play. Excuse me, Resident Evil 2, because I'd had it sitting in my library for about 6 months and hadn't actually touched it.
The remastered version.
Yes, the remake.
This is PlayStation 5 version.
Well, no, I'm playing on PC. I'll put it on PC.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got
I mean,
but yes, it is the one.
not remaster,
it's
remake. It really is, right?
It is full on, like. Well, yeah, because was Resi 2 still like stationary camera angles and stuff like that?
It was just not. It's not. You can't compare the two.
So this is basically, third person, but over the shoulder view, like you are in Resi 4 and stuff like that. And well, where do I start? Okay, the start, it takes a bit of time to get going because you've got to watch all the videos, but the atmosphere is great. It's we're back and it's creepy as fuck. And you're like, the deal is you're Leon. Well, I chose to be Leon. You can be 2 characters, can't you? I don't know. I haven't played as Claire, because you meet Claire on the road in, and you can then choose to play as either character. I chose to play as Leon because I'm pretty sure that's the way I started the first game, or the first time round. And you are on your way to the Raccoon City Police Department for starting your new job. And all the shit, it all goes to shit, obviously, on the way in, and everyone's a fucking zombie. Or most people are. And, well, it looks pretty nice. It doesn't look as good as Resi 4 demo. That's definitely had an even better lick of paint, I think, than this has. Well, to be fair, versus the originals, I don't know. Maybe this had a bigger uptake.
I think RE4 probably this probably helped catapult RE4
it's in the same engine
for a really good budget, right? No, but
yeah. Well, this shows what they could done. Like the Resi 2 was a long time ago, and this is a massive upgrade on that.
Yeah, this game's 4 years old now, by the way, too.
Yeah, exactly. So the Resi 4 is going to. I'm seriously considering buying it next week when it comes out, but I've got a lot of Resi 2 to play between now and then, if I'm going to do that. But yeah, looks super nice. It's because this has been upgraded over when it first came out, because it got a ray tracing pass after it had came out, and there was a bit of a fuss about that because it fucked up a lot of people's games because it ran like shit versus what it did beforehand. But when you're running around the police station with just a torch out,
oh, you like a torch out, don't you,
mate? Oh god, it's so fucking creepy.
I was going to say,
the atmosphere is amazing.
It looks like a proper good game.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it's like sneaking around, like it's all on sale. Everything's on sale at the minute on PC.
Oh yeah,
on Resident Evil.
It's really good.
It's like even if you just sit there not moving, and then you can just hear things, and it's just like creaking floorboards or whatever. The atmosphere is fucking amazing. I am a bit. I don't know what I'm doing with these fucking zombies. I don't know when they're dead. And I think I've shot them in the head a few times, and they go down. I'm like, he looks dead. Yeah, I guess they are dead, but they're not. It's like, when are they going to get back up again? How do I like, in like Evil Within or whatever, you used to burn the fuckers and they were dead. You knew they weren't fucking coming back. I don't know what I need to do in here to like not get up again. So that's where I am at the minute. I'm still in the police station, running around, fucking trying to solve the little puzzle to get out of the police station. Which is not a little puzzle, actually. You have to do running around the whole fucking place. I've don't know how many times to get to all the stuff you need. Plus classic Resident Evil stuff. Yeah.
There's a lot of running around in there.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's places you can't get to, and obviously then you can if you go, oh, spoiler, I've just revealed a puzzle on the stream. So, it's... No, I knew it anyway because I'd done that bit. But I was just watching it going, oh, is he going to do it? Yeah, he's going to do it. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of things I don't know what to do exactly right yet. But yeah, like I say, the big another thing, you get a knife, and I'm like, that's all right. I'll just kill everyone with the knife. If I creep up behind them, I can give them a good stabbing before they fucking turn around, and I don't have to use all my bullets, which there's not many of. But then my fucking knife broke. I was like, for fuck's sake, what? I was like, I've just lost my knife. So now I've got no bullets and no knife. So I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. But so then another thing was a bit annoying. Was like, I thought, good old Resident Evil, you needed a typewriter ribbon to save your game, didn't you? On the typewriters. Well, you don't need a fucking ribbon anymore. So I didn't know you could save your game. But it did a couple of auto saves, and then it was just like I'd played for like 20 minutes and I'd got a bit into the game, and it was like I had to go and do something. And I was like, oh, fuck! It doesn't just save all the time. It's like you need to have some time set aside to say, like I've got until 2:00, and at 2:00 I need to fucking find a typewriter to save. So that's a bit annoying that you can't just it doesn't checkpoint. Like where you were. If you're in a PS5 or an Xbox Series S, I guess you can put it in resume mode and just so when you just bring it back up, it's back where you were.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, though, you were never more than a couple of minutes to get to a typewriter.
No. But I didn't realise that at the time. When I'd played about an hour and actually only made about half an hour's progress because I'd played it 4 times and twice I'd had to just fuck off and leave it, and I'd had to shut the game down. I was like, fuck.
Oh, right, okay.
So that was a bit annoying. But yeah, it's very good so far, but it's still very early. And yeah, just the whole fucking how do I get rid of these fucking zombies without using about 20 fucking bullets is the thing I need to know.
Shoot him in the head.
Well, that's what I was doing. I shot him in the head quite a few times, and then thought he was dead. Then he got back up again. I was like, I've just fucking shot you in the head about 6 times, and you get back up. They don't get back up straight away. They wait until you're right next to them, and then they get up. And you're like, for fuck's sake! So yeah, it's made me jump so many times already. So, but it's fun. It's fun.
It's done its job as a game.
Yeah. Well, it's not finished doing its job because I'm going to carry on playing it. So.
Yeah, it's good. There's a good length to it too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shall I go next?
If you like.
We've been playing more Hunt. I'm not sure. I haven't seen you on Hunt, I don't think, this week, Neil. We've lost you to Destiny a little bit more this week, haven't we?
Yeah, I've been busy working in Destiny and then trying to fit in some other stuff that isn't Destiny. So.
Yeah, nothing. I have nothing to report on that, I don't think. I did get persuaded to jump in and play a game of Valorant the other day, which I had not played Valorant for a long time. And I will secretly admit on this public podcast that I was a little bit nervous going back into Valorant. I thought I was going to be super, super rusty. And actually, I mean, what I was worried about was being super rusty and shit and getting really frustrated with it. But actually, I went in and I really enjoyed it. I think I was sort of gearing up for a game anyway because my kids, for some reason, my kids have started playing. You know what it is? My son started playing. He's really into it now.
No.
He keeps sitting down at dinner time telling us about all the aces he gets and stuff.
Ugh, annoying.
But my daughter's been playing it as well. So I think she's been reinvigorated by a new agent. So there's a new agent called Gecko. So she's been maining him as far as I'm aware this week.
How'd you get them? You pay to get in? Like the new agent? Is it like you just pay in?
Yeah, you have to. Well, you can pay up front and get access straight away. I think it's like.
I have just seen possibly the worst play in Valorant history.
Yeah,
I was just like, what am I watching? It's like, how is this guy not dead?
I think you can obviously pay up front to get the agent unlocked from day one, or you can just unlock them normally. Yeah, grind it out.
I can't remember how you unlock the new stuff when it comes out.
You just assign your XP to that agent, and then I think you have to get them to level 10 before they unlock or something, or level 5 before they unlock.
I see.
So, but anyway, Grace, that's my wife's name, Madeline. who's been playing enough to unlock it, so she's been playing that. Yeah, so I was a bit concerned that because when we played Valorant, I was playing a lot, right? I'm convinced, and actually I'm not wrong. I mean, I was definitely rusty, but I enjoyed it. I still
Do you
got
think
some kills.
your skills have transferred over? Because you were getting pretty nifty at Old Hunt Showdown.
Yeah, well, I think the thing with Hunt Showdown, I think I think with Hunt, what's happened with Hunt is I've enjoyed fighting a lot more, and I've been less scared of fighting, and so it was like PUBG. Do you remember when you were playing PUBG? It was a lot of talk of PUBG. It was like you have to get in there and fight because eventually you have to fight people anyway. So get yourself stuck into the danger zones and get on with it and learn to fight people and get your gun skills up. So I did that with Hunt, and I'm enjoying that a lot more. Particularly, we're playing a much more aggressive game, I think, among everyone right now. And I think when it comes down to close range fighting, I get a little bit of the Valorant training starts to spill over a little bit, right? Don't panic, make your shots count, and I think it's just been more effective. Keep cover, sort your angles out against the walls or
don't
the
walk
tree
around
stump.
looking at the ground.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
You know,
be ready.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's
aim at head height round corners and things like that.
Yeah. And so it was fun playing. We had 4 stack of us in there. I think Mark, Matt, Arnie, and I were playing. We could have done with a 5th, but it was good to play. I'd forgotten, it's nice to play in the team. And it was good. We had a good game. We won, so it was enjoyable. But then we played another game after that, and that was not so enjoyable.
Hang on, did you say 4? I thought it was 3 max.
5, isn't it?
No, it's 5.
Hunt.
No, we're on to Valorant.
Let's talk about Valorant.
Sorry, Valorant. Sorry.
It's all right. Get back to your What Hi-Fi magazine. All right.
Sorry, getting confused between the games.
Yeah. So, but the second game wasn't as enjoyable, and I purely think we did lose, but I think we lost a couple of players or one player. I can't remember anyway. Sorry. I think it's just it burns me out. Valorant is just non-stop. When you play Valorant, it's just go for and if a match goes to full 13, 12, you're looking at 40 minutes of gameplay, right? It's
and it gets tense tiring towards the end, obviously.
Yeah, it gets tense, but you really have to concentrate.
It is exhausting
all the time.
Exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
I think that's why I stopped playing it, because it was just too much.
So
when winning, it's fun, but to win takes a lot of concentrating.
Yeah, I think that I think I could go play a game I could go play a game right now, lose, and it might be a little bit frustrating. But if it was a good game, it's a good game, and then the game after that is going to be tough because I'm just going to be tired. It's old manny. It just sounds like but we're playing in the evenings. It's knackering, right? Whereas something like Hunt, there is downtime. You just mooch around in the forest and walk from one place to the other and have a chat with your mates. And if you want to go,
that was the PUBG type. That's the sort of similar to PUBG, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the same thing with PUBG.
It's like you're all funny, just having a bit of a laugh and a giggle, and then all of a sudden it's like game face on because we're in combat and we need to fucking go.
Exactly. But it was good to play. So I think I'll definitely be jumping back in for some games here and there.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Kind of miss it, kind of, but I've just got no space for it. I'm playing
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. You haven't got the bandwidth.
No, I want to get good at Destiny.
And then Steam have got a sale on, so I thought I'd check my wish list this afternoon. I screwed up, of course, because we lost the hour. Our clocks went forward. So we've lost an hour on you guys. So I was sat here patiently waiting, wondering where you all were. And I got my time wrong. Obviously, it was for 4 hours difference this week instead of 5 hours. So I thought, okay, let's play something. Let's see what else I can run on this machine. So I looked through my Steam library and I saw a couple of things, but nothing really took my fancy. And then I pulled up my wish list because there's a sale on Steam right now. And I looked through and I was like, I don't want to pay that much. And then right at the bottom of my wish list was a game called Project Lazarus, and it was like $4, I think, $4 or $5. So, oh yeah, okay, I'll grab that. That's nothing, it's bite size, and I'll see if it runs and whatever. So I loaded it up, and here's the question for you. It said it needed 6 gig of space.
Hard drive space.
Yeah. Now I expected it to be a 3 gig download, right? Because it's got to download it and then unpack it to the space. But actually, it was only about a 1.5 gig download. So why did it need 12? Sorry, why did it need 6?
Mate, how does it? Is it 6 gig now? It's unpacked.
I don't know.
Well, maybe that'll answer the question.
Well,
because maybe it is just super compressed.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. That's it, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, this is a Vampire Survivors wannabe, but with rather than a wizard or whatever or some guy in a cloak, you are mechs. So our mechs, like, well, we all know what a mech is, right? Like a battle mech.
It's a Titan from Titanfall.
Yeah, like a Titan. Yeah. So it's the same top down. You're looking at your mech.
A bit more fancy graphically.
Yeah, it's much more fancy graphically. So Vampire Survivors as well is directly top down. This is sort of,
and it's proper retro looking.
Yeah, this is isometric, and it's it's
3D. You can see
3D.
They're 3D models.
Right. Yeah. But same sort of premise. You start off your mech's there on the ground, and then it's got a little crappy gun going yeah, and then you're taking out the grunts. They're dropping a diamond or whatever it might be, and you collect those, and then when you've collected enough, suddenly you level up, and then it says here, what do you want to tack onto your mech? And I think I've only played it for about half an hour, so I haven't seen much, but I played about 2 or 3 games. And
do you get a garlic? And
there's no garlic, although I was like secretly hoping I would find some sort of energy shield. Because typically with this, I played the first game and I had a sort of a gun, and then I got another rifle or something that attached onto his shoulder.
It looks a bit like you are more in control of where you're shooting in this game versus...
Right, yeah, this is different. So instead of it all just happening without you, with you just moving, like you can play Vampire Survivors with one hand, right? This one is you're moving. It's like a twin stick shooter. I think they call it a reverse twin stick shooter. So I'm not exactly... Anyway, I'll get lost and confused on that. But you're not controlling the shot.
Sounds like something else, a reverse twin stick.
Far too exotic for me. So yeah, you are controlling the direction of the weapons, but you're not controlling the fire rate. So they're going to fire regardless. But you're moving with your left. Right. Moving with your left stick, and he started again. You're moving with your left stick, and then you're firing with the right stick. And so in the first game I played it, it's dropping some stuff. I got a couple of upgrades here, and then I got overwhelmed and I got killed. And I was a bit like, I feel like this game's pretty hard. Why did I not do better than that? I thought I could do better than that. And then of course I had to sit there, take a moment.
Do you remember the first few games of Vampire Survivors?
Yeah. You're forgetting what this is like, right? You're gonna earn. You have to earn your way through. And so I played the second game, and and then from that first game I had earned some credits, so there were a couple of upgrades. It's exact, it's a blatant copy. Wow. I went and spent the credits, and I allocated 180 to this, and I added 180 to that. Start a new game, and my fire rate was up a little bit more, and I was a little bit more powerful. And then I started to shoot some more things. And whatnot. Actually, I should just mention my PC without a graphics card ran it at about 35 frames a second, which wasn't tremendous, but it was more than playable.
Have you tried Vampire Survivors on your PC?
No, I should do.
Because that gets a bit crazy towards the end.
Yeah, that can go. Well, this is what I think. See, this wasn't even going crazy, so I've got a feeling that this is going to suffer.
This could get extremely bad.
Yeah, then I chucked all the settings down to low, and it removed all the foliage off the ground. It was like really starting to look bare bones and really shitty. And the other thing was, and there were these grey critters who were trying to kill me. They ended up being almost the exact same color as the ground underneath the foliage, so I couldn't see them anymore very well. Like my periphery vision, I wasn't catching them, and they were really causing me a problem. So that's not good. I might drop a line to the developer about that, because it's, that's the sort of thing they need to fix. But it ran 60, so that was okay, I guess. But anyway, regardless, that's the PC. The game itself.
Transfer it to your good one.
Maybe? Yeah, I'll play it on my good one. Yeah, I'll go have a look at that and see how it goes. But I think what's going to happen is, I hovered over the refund button on it, okay? Because I was a bit like, I don't think it's that great, and I've seen all this before. But I didn't refund it because I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go back in, and I'll be interested to be able to pull this up 6 months from now and see what kind of progress they made. And they're obviously not going to make progress unless they have any money. So I'm okay with that, right?
So it's still early access, is it?
Oh yeah, it's like you can tell. Like it's just this is not. There's a long way to go on this. The problem this is going to have over something like Vampire Survivors.
It's too complicated.
Not that it's too complicated in terms of what they're doing with the look and the feel and all the graphics and stuff like that. It's not as straightforward as, and I'm not saying Vampire Survivors is straight. What do I know about programming video games, right? But you can see it when you look at the difference between how the two of them look. So there's a lot of work that needs to be put into this one. Wow. So it'll be interesting to see how they tweak it. I would hope that a lot of people will be interested in it. All the reviews are positive. People like it. The people who play it really like it.
They want it to do well.
Yeah, so I'd like to hold on to that, see it do well, because there's some tweaks and things that need to be made. Like I didn't like. It gave me, in my second run through, it gave me a flamethrower, which was really cool. That helped me really wipe out a load of, when I was getting overwhelmed, the flamethrower was really cool. And it was a timed flamethrower. You know how the flamethrower works in Vampire Survivors? It just annihilates everything, right? So you have pretty much the same thing, but it has a cooldown and then it comes back. So it regularly helps you clear out stuff. That's cool. But then I also got, on the trot, 2 or 3 timed upgrades. I was like, okay, your energy shields will regen for the next 120 seconds, or you have a increased fire rate of 10% for the next 30 seconds. And I was like, those are pretty shitty, right? I felt that's not what.
That's a chosen upgrade, or is it just like a random pickup?
It was a buff. It was like, well, that's not what I want from my level up,
No, so yeah.
Give me something to attach.
If it was
to
literally
my
like something that had fallen on the ground and you pick it up for 30 seconds, you don't get any.
Yeah, it's not like that. No, it's not. It's
like when you get the coins thing in Vampire Survivors, and it's just like this fucking money flying everywhere for 30 seconds or whatever. And
Yeah. So, and I feel sorry for the game in one respect, because I'm judging that based on Vampire Survivors gameplay. It's like I'm almost.
Thing is, they did really nail it. Over the course of time.
The thing is, Vampire Survivors nailed it, and these guys are blatantly copying it. All right. So if you're going to blatantly copy it, fucking blatantly copy it right. Get
all the good stuff that's in there as well.
But then again, I say that they could experiment with some other directions and nail it, right? And bring something completely new to the party. So I'm holding on to that, and I'm going to take a relook at it. I might play some more rounds in the near future, and then I'll probably shelve it for 6 months and go back and see how it's doing.
Okay.
And it's on sale right now. It was dirt cheap. Might be one just to pick up to have in the library.
I don't think it's super expensive, is it? Anyway,
no.
Maybe not. I don't know. So,
cool.
Yeah,
it looks cool. It does look cool.
Yeah, it's all right. So yeah, that's all. That's what I've got. That's all I've been up to.
I heard about a game the other day. I haven't bought that you can play with DJ controllers, which I thought might be interesting. Like plug in. Are yours MIDI?
Yeah.
Yeah, it works with MIDI DJ controls. It's called Spin Rhythm XD.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll have to go check that out.
That might be a laugh.
All right.
I think I saw.
What should I do? What should I do?
Check it out.
All right, Dave, what you got for us?
I've just got one game this week that I've been playing. I've been playing a few bit of Call of Duty, but there's not much really to talk about that. New game I've been playing is a game called I can't remember what it's called.
Big Ambitions.
Big Ambitions, that's the one. It's an early access game. It's a business tycoon game. I think that's the best way of describing it. So it's a tycoon game. Business tycoon. You start at the bottom. You rent a property business, create a business.
You get to choose what business you want.
You get to choose what business it is. There's like a limited amount of sort of 8 or 9 different types of businesses, like gift shops, flower shops, things like that. You've got to stock it, you've got to staff it, you've got to generate a HQ with
IT
HR.
support staff.
Not IT. IT isn't actually modelled, but you've got to buy the desks, the computers. You've got to kit it out. You've got to train everybody. You've got you've got to rent a property where you live and eat and sleep. It's situated in New York and a few different districts of New York. It's quite a big playable area. All the buildings are rentable in one degree or another. There are other businesses, but it's not kind of like directly competing against them. There's a sort of a overarching demand for goods, and certain businesses pop up and sort of take a percentage of the demand of goods, but doesn't really have a massive impact. As I say, it's still quite early access. Not everything is sort of you can hire staff and they do have demands, but then the staff aren't really sort of modelled in that you hire them, you set their allocated hours, and that's it. You kind of they go. Sometimes they randomly do go off sick, but as long as you've got a HR department, they recruit others in. So yeah, there's a lot more. It's the typical tycoon issues where the early game there's a lot more in depth sort of setup of stuff, but once you've got the ball rolling, it's fine.
You seem to do a lot of running around watching the stream.
Yeah, it is a lot of
seems
running around.
Not very tycoon-like activity, running around.
No, it's quite good. The actual city is modelled very well. But yeah, it's
almost
okay.
like you're an apprentice on the TV show running around. Do you have to speak into your phone like a bell end and stuff like that?
So as I say, at the early, there is a lot of that. There's a lot of running around. There's a lot of getting goods for your businesses, stocking them, working behind the counter when you haven't got enough staff, stuff like that. So yeah, it's not massively expensive. It's like £10 or something. I paid for it. And if you like these tycoon games, it's quite a good one.
I saw on Twitch it had like loads of people watching it or something. It had like loads of thousands of people watching this game on Twitch. I was like, seems quite popular.
Yeah. It's a new one that's recently been released on Steam. They have had some early builds directly from the website, but a lot of people are sort of attaching to it. So it seems quite popular. But again, it's got a limited sort of scope at the moment of how much you can do. But it's early access, and there is a roadmap of what they want to do going forward. So
they say how long they think it'll be in early access.
I didn't read up on that, but yeah,
it feels like a game though. It's not like it feels like doesn't feel completely.
No. It feels like a game. Yeah. I've played 10, 12 hours of it.
Oh, that's plenty.
And I'm still playing it, but I can see there's limitations to it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like I imagined it to look from just seeing a description of it and stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's all right. It's good.
How did you come across that?
I saw somebody playing it on Twitch, and I was like, oh, that looks like one of my kind of games, and it is. So
keep you off Call of Duty for a while.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Anyone got anything else, or can we call that a show?
That's a show.
That is a show. All right, Dave. Do you want to do our bit?
I'll do my bit. So I'd say thank you for listening to the Seal Podcast. If you'd like to ask us questions or get involved, please contact us either on Twitter at Seal Podcast, email us at sealpodcast@gmail.com, or join us on a Discord server. A link is pinned on Twitter. We have YouTube and Twitch channels, which we upload and stream to as much as we can. Neil, do you want to do a shout out?
Big shout outs to Mark and Arnie, our chatters of the evening, and any lurkers.
Is that all we got this week?
That's the chatters. Mark's been very busy in the chat. I feel like I've been ignoring him, but
he said the same thing in the chat that I said about them having a duty of care.
Yes, he did. He did. He was very informative. I was reading it, even if I wasn't commenting. So, thank you for joining.
Yes, thanks, guys. Okay, perfect. All right, gents. Appreciate the time to everyone. Thank you very much for listening. Yada, yada, yada. Same old stuff. And until next week, whatever, we'll catch you later.
See you later.
See you later.
For listening. Bye.